This is ABC15 Mornings.
Several people hit, one with life-threatening injuries. This morning, a shooter is on the run. The latest on a triple shooting.
Well, her family says she lost touch with reality, emptied bank accounts, and vanished with the kids. This morning, we're hearing from the dead husband of Lori Daybell.
And adjusting to these new norms means social distancing, masks, and in some cases, signing a liability waiver. We'll talk more about that on this Wednesday here on ABC 15 Mornings. First, we want to say good morning to you. I'm Keely O'Kelly. Our Nick Saletti is social distancing from home on a cooler start to this hump day.
Yeah, that's right, Kaylee. Whoever's waking up right now, you're going to feel it. I walked my dog a couple hours ago, and we definitely felt it. So let's get to meteorologist Iris Hermosillo, who's tracking that most accurate forecast for us. Hey, Iris.
Hey, good morning. It's the talk of the town, the talk of the state, the cool down that we're feeling this morning and the crisp temperatures that we have around the valley. Right now, it's 64 degrees in Phoenix. We've cooled another couple degrees here as of the top of the hour, but we've got 50s in much of the Phoenix area right now with freezes in the high country this morning, believe it or not. Enjoy the cooler weather while you can. A gorgeous looking start to the day, too, with those clear skies out there. We will stay sunny and dry today. Winds are also going to be much lighter with temperatures only topping out in the upper 80s. So that means a slower warm up today. 60s still by 8 o'clock, then into the 70s after that. We won't see the 80s until about lunchtime. Today, a high of 88 degrees. That'll put us about 5 to 10 degrees below the average high for this time of year. But our cool down ends today. We're going to start to warm up after today. We're going to talk about those climbing temperatures in that 7-day forecast.
Okay, Iris, thank you. Happening right now, Phoenix police are investigating a triple shooting behind a QT. This is near 19th Avenue in Glendale. Officers tell us 3 people had to be rushed to the hospital, one of them with life-threatening injuries. Police did not give details on the conditions of those other 2 victims. Right now, it's not clear what exactly led up to the shooting. We know they do not have a suspect in custody, and investigators are still working on a suspect description. And just a few hours later, police called out to another shooting, this one near 35th Avenue in Cactus. We're told a man was shot but is expected to survive. The gunman in this shooting is on the run this morning.
Well, there's some chilling video to share with you today. For the first time, we hear from Lori Vallow's ex-husband, who is now dead. Body camera video from the Gilbert Police Department shows a man worried about the whereabouts of his children, 2 who have not been seen in several months. Our Mark Thompson is following this story. And Mark, the video comes from early last year.
Indeed it does. Kaylee, good morning to you. This is video from January of 2019. Charles Vallow just returning home from a business trip where he finds that he's locked out of the house and his wife and children are gone. The whereabouts of JJ and Tylee, it remains a mystery still to this day. Meanwhile, Lori Daybell is locked up in Idaho awaiting her next court appearance. In this new video, Charles Vallow is scared. His kids, they're not picking up the phone. He has no idea where his then wife may have taken them, and he tells Gilbert police officers that his wife has dramatically changed and he fears for his life.
He said, "You're not Charles. I don't know who you are, what you did with Charles, but I can murder you now with my powers."
A few months after this video, Charles Vallow was killed. He was shot by his wife's brother, Alex Cox. That man would also later die, ruled by the medical examiner's office as natural causes. Now, as Lori Daybell continues to sit behind bars, she claims that she's done nothing wrong. She says that her children are safe. However, she refuses to tell anyone where they are. Reporting live this morning, Mark Thompson, ABC 15 Arizona. Kaylee, back to you.
And the investigation in that story continues. Thank you very much, Mark. Well, a man and woman found dead inside a Phoenix home. The police department ruling this a double homicide. Investigators identifying one of those victims as Christina Palmares. Police say the 30-year-old woman and a man were found shot Monday near 48th Street and Broadway.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic. The number of confirmed cases in Arizona is now over 14,500. 704 people have died from the virus. More than 220,000 COVID-19 tests have been administered at state and private labs. Arizona near the bottom, though, when it comes to per capita testing. And the Navajo Nation now has had more than 4,000 cases. The Navajo Nation President Jonathan Nez announcing a major plan for the $600 million it received as part of the CARES Act that could help stem major viral outbreaks on the reservation in the future.
We want to be able to use some of this CARES Act funding to get water infrastructure, electricity, as well to our Navajo people.
Well, up to 40% of homes on the Navajo Nation do not have running water. A similar percentage do not have reliable internet and cell phone service. President Nez also announcing the recovery centers built by the National Guard are finally receiving patients, thanks to volunteer medical groups that are staffing them and also providing that much needed support. Well, tonight, ABC News correspondent Matt Gutman will give us a firsthand look at how the pandemic is devastating the reservation, talking with Native American doctors there battling the virus. You can watch his report on World News Tonight. That's at 5:30 right here on ABC 15 Arizona.
Well, as of today, all 50 states are now in some sort of reopening phase. Connecticut last on the list to allow residents to dine at restaurants outdoors or go into a retail shop. But at least 17 states have recorded an upward trend of average new daily cases, while 16 states have confirmed the number of cases dropping. The latest numbers showing more than 1.5 million coronavirus cases here in the U.S. More than 90,000 Americans have died from COVID-19. As businesses reopen here in Arizona, there are new norms: masks, social distancing, and in some cases, liability waivers. Have you run into this? A lot of businesses and apartment complexes asking people to sign away their right to sue. These legal docs say if you contract COVID-19, you can't blame it on the business or the location. And already they are becoming commonplace at gyms. Some experts are telling us these waivers won't pop up everywhere over fears of turning away customers.
I think businesses need to be careful because the overuse of waivers could backfire. It could cause those customers to get scared or become offended.
Attorneys like the one you just heard from say it is important to always read the waiver, the fine print there, and know if you do refuse to sign, a business owner can turn you away. Despite demands by Democrats to end the legislative session, the Arizona House is back to work. Democrats want a special session focused on COVID-19 relief. Republicans want to keep working. One bill now being fast-tracked protects businesses, schools, and churches from coronavirus-related liability lawsuits. Critics argue the measure does not follow CDC guidelines and limits the power of the governor.
6:07, the Arizona Supreme Court is just issuing guidelines for courtrooms to resume some in-person operations. Nohalani Graf is joining us live this morning. No, hey, not everyone will be expected back in the courtroom because there will be a lot of remote hearings because of this.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of changes, Nick. The High Court just issuing its new guidelines. And like you mentioned, you can expect to see a lot more audio and video proceedings. And all of this goes into effect starting on June 1st. So the courts are going to be increasing their daily cleaning inside. And the number of people that you actually see at the courthouse definitely going to be reduced dramatically. As for getting summoned, you're not going to be immediately brought downtown. Instead, you'll log on from home. You'll go through a series of questions to determine whether you're eligible to be a juror. The remote screening process is then going to help ensure more social distancing, and you can answer that questionnaire 10 days before your scheduled jury service to determine whether you're disqualified. You will have to leave a cell phone number or an email address for the court system to be able to contact you so that you can stay informed on your status of whether or not you have to serve. Now, if you are selected for jury duty, you will see more changes as you come down to the courthouse and how you get to the courthouse. So I'm going to go over those coming up in our next half hour. I'm Nohalani Graf, live in downtown Phoenix, ABC 15 Arizona.
No, hey, thank you. Almost 6:09 now, and up next here on ABC 15 Mornings. The coming weekend often considered the unofficial start of summer, but a new survey is showing just how many of you are canceling that big summertime vacation.
Well, little love for loves. People in the West Valley are banding together to stop a truck stop from being built near their homes. We'll break down the plans coming up.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
All right, let's take a look at that Desert Drive Time traffic from Accident Law Group, and you can see the 10 eastbound right at 7th Avenue moving right along for you on this Wednesday morning, a cooler Wednesday morning, and something to be super happy about, Iris. I'm just going to say thank you so much.
Oh, I'll take the credit, right? Why not? We've got to enjoy this cooler weather because it's not going to stick around for long. So this morning, step outside, feel that cool, crisp air. We've got sunny conditions across the valley. You're going to notice a little bit of a haze over the Phoenix area. We had those strong winds yesterday that kicked up a little bit of dust, so a little dusty haze. Otherwise, though, our air quality in the moderate range through the day today for both particle pollution and also ozone pollution. So no air quality alerts and better air quality conditions in case you want to get out for those activities here today. And you've got the green light really when it comes to our weather today, whether you want to go for a run, maybe go for a hike, maybe go for a bike ride. Of course, make sure that you're still wearing that sunblock. Our burn time is at about 15 minutes. And remember, we get that peak UV index at around midday. So if you're going to hold off a little bit longer before you hit the trails or maybe go out for that workout, sunblock is going to be important. As you look at those temperatures around the valley, we've got mainly 50s out there, believe it or not. We haven't been this cool since late April. Around April 20th, we saw these low temperatures in the low 60s, at least in Phoenix, but 50s right now in Surprise and Peoria, both checking in at 57. It's 54 degrees in Buckeye, 58 right now in Levine. Goodyear, you're checking in the low 60s at least. Mid 50s right now in Cave Creek and in Deer Valley, and check out the East Valley, cooler in Apache Junction now at just 52 degrees. It's 53 in the Santan Valley, now a nice 58 in Chandler. Those morning walks are going to feel really good here as you step outside. We're running about 5 to 15 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago across Arizona, thanks to a cold front that swept through our state. That cold front responsible for those gusty winds yesterday, but now we're getting to enjoy that cooler air that moved in behind it. Yesterday wasn't that bad even. We reached a high of 91 yesterday as forecasted, but today is going to be even cooler. Now this morning, still looking at freezing conditions in Flagstaff at 30 degrees. It's in the 20s still at the Grand Canyon. Upper 40s in Sedona, 38 in Prescott. And if you're waking up with us in Lake Havasu, 58 degrees for you. Globe, you're checking in at 49 degrees right now. We are starting out with cooler temperatures, colder up north this afternoon. A cooler day overall with a high of just 88 degrees in Phoenix. Only in the low 60s today in Flagstaff. We'll reach 87 in Bullhead City, 77 in Kingman, and only 86 for high today in Casa Grande. And look at these valley high temperatures. We're talking mid to upper 80s. That'll put us about 5 to 10 degrees below the average high for this time of year across the East Valley and across the West Valley. West Valley, 88 for Avondale, 87 today in Glendale. And then tonight, not as cool as it was this morning or as it is this morning, but we'll still drop down into the 50s to low 60s to kick off our Thursday morning. So here's how today breaks down by the hour. We won't see the 80s until about lunchtime. So if you prefer the 60s and 70s for your outdoor activities, then get them done before noon. Once we get into this afternoon, it's nothing but 80s with a high of 88 degrees in Phoenix. Our sun will set just after 7:20. Enjoy the cool down now, because after today, it's all uphill. Temperatures in the 90s again tomorrow, upper 90s by the end of the week and the weekend, and then we've got hundreds setting up for us next week. Winds lighter today. We'll talk about how strong they'll be statewide in just a few minutes.
Thank you for the reminder to get out and enjoy, right? Okay, we want to get to a traffic alert for you this morning. It's a deadly crash involving a pedestrian. As we show you these live images here, here's a look at the scene. This is Thomas Road near 24th Street, and you can see police blocking parts of the roadway there. We are told it's a woman who was hit and killed. She was not in a crosswalk. The driver, we can also tell you, did remain on scene. No signs of impairment this morning either, but we can also tell you that road will likely be closed through the morning rush.
In your headlines this morning, citing concerns over the spread of COVID-19, the Trump administration is extending restrictions at the border indefinitely. The order allows federal authorities to immediately return unauthorized migrants to their home countries. The CDC says it plans to review the decision every 30 days. At the peak of the coronavirus pandemic last month, the world cut its daily carbon emissions by 17%. But with life inching back to normal, scientists believe the pollution break will be comparable to a drop in the ocean in the larger view of climate change. And no more baby powder in the U.S. or Canada from Johnson & Johnson. The company is facing numerous lawsuits blaming the talcum powder for cancer. It'll still sell baby powder using cornstarch.
Well, it is 6:17. A Krispy Kreme store on the west side of town forced to shut down for a couple of hours because so many people showed up for a promotional event. In fact, we talked about it yesterday on ABC15 Mornings. Police called out to the Avondale location near the 10 at Dysart. This after the lines of cars trying to get Krispy Kreme, they started to block traffic. Krispy Kreme had a giveaway yesterday for a free dozen donuts for 2020 grads.
Yeah, people like Krispy Kreme, also grads, feeling like they want to celebrate right now after going through everything they've been going through. I get it. Hey, new this morning, putting the brakes on a potential truck stop that is near their homes. This one is in the West Valley. A group of neighbors there banding together against the Love's Travel Center. ABC15's John Genovese is live near the Loop 303 and Cotton Lane. And John, there are a lot of layers to this, and now there's a neighborhood meeting trying to see if anything can be done about it.
Yeah, Nick, that meeting's scheduled now for tomorrow night. But behind me is the plot of land in question. It is technically in the city of Glendale, but what complicates things is that many of the people who are against these plans, who live just down the street, are not.
Who knows what's going to happen when that, comes into play.
Among this group, there is little love for Love's.
To learn that a truck stop is going to be plunked right across the street from our neighbors it's maddening.
The bus stop where our kids would go down to is directly right across the street.
We don't think it's smart to put a truck stop in this area.
CJ Unzen is helping lead the fight against what could become a travel center on this now agricultural plot off Bethany Home near Loop 303. She first learned of the plan and rallied dozens of her neighbors shortly after a November City Council workshop.
This piece here is the one that's in zoning right now. That's a Love's Travel Center. We haven't been saying the name because they didn't say we could, but now they've said that they're ready to announce.
The group raising concerns over potential crime and safety issues, the impact on their health from diesel fumes, and an increase in traffic. After several delays, the Glendale Planning Commission is set to address rezoning the land early next month. And no matter what, CJ and her neighbors say they'll be making their voices heard until the end.
We're not against the trucking industry, we're not against truckers, and we're not even against truck stops. We just do not believe that this is the right location. We don't believe they should be near any neighborhoods.
Now, in a statement, Love's told us in part they submitted a traffic study that's being reviewed by ADOT and the city of Glendale. They confirm they are looking to purchase around a dozen acres here for that travel center and up to 3 restaurants. And they say, as always, they work with local officials to mitigate any concerns from residents. And Kaylee, obviously, we'll be watching that meeting closely next month. There is still a lot we don't know about these plans.
All right, our John Genovese live for us. Thank you for that. Appreciate the update. More than half of people working say they are not planning to take time off or a vacation during this pandemic. It's according to a new survey, the results from the jobs website Monster. So many of us concerned about job security, others unable to separate themselves from work at home life.
Your PTO is your PTO, and that could be, 3-day weekends, maybe extending summer Fridays. Enjoy this time and try to have a separation now more than ever from work when you're finding yourself at home also working.
And don't forget, if you don't take your PTO, it means you are leaving money on the table. More than 2/3 of employers feel personal productivity has actually dropped, and that could be because of burnout.
Ahead on ABC15 Mornings, from essential workers to families in need, one Valley business is preparing to give back to the community with thousands of free meals.
Plus, moms and dads will tell you teenagers don't always listen. As quarantine ends and summer is right around the corner, how do you get your kids to practice social distancing when you're not around?
Okay, so get your pen and paper, maybe your phone, however you keep your calendar. You're going to want to mark this down. As part of the Rebound Arizona, we've been highlighting local restaurants doing what they can to make ends meet, and so often taking action to help the community. And while the stay-at-home order has ended, the spirit of giving back to the community, it's not gone. So 1 week from today, some boroughs will be offering 5,000 hot and ready meals to anyone in need. Known for their authentic Sonoran-style Mexican food, the Vasquez family opened the first Some Boroughs back in 1986. Now, since then, they've hooked the Valley on their slow-cooked meat, sauces, and handmade tortillas. Again, if you're interested, Some Boroughs is donating the meals next Wednesday from 3 to 7 at Diablo Stadium in Tempe. And Raise One for Local Restaurant Workers. 98.7 Arizona Sports Station is partnering with Hensley Beverage Company as well as local sports teams to help the thousands of Arizona restaurant workers who lost their jobs or lost pay because of the coronavirus. They're launching the Raise One for Arizona fundraiser. It's a win-win. So buy a raffle ticket and you have a chance to win prizes and experiences from local sports franchises. And funds from your purchase go to the Arizona Restaurant Association Foundation Relief Fund, which offers financial grants to food workers in need of emergency aid. And if you're looking for restaurants to help out, we've got you covered. Head to abc15.com/open for hundreds of Arizona restaurants open right now.
All right, Justin, thank you so much. Well, here's something good that could be coming from coronavirus. Being stuck at home might be making brothers and sisters closer. Results of a new study asking more than 500 families in the UK about brothers and sisters and how they have gotten along during this quarantine. 2/3 reporting a stronger bond. Only a fifth reported more fighting. And psychologists say being forced to find common ground, online learning, and limited connection with friends outside the home could be making this positive difference for families.
Next at 6:30, it's a debate happening in households everywhere, whether to wear a face mask in public. Some of us do, some of us don't. Still to come, a local doctor gives his perspective.
Giving you your day in court, but assembling a jury is going to look a little bit different these days. What to know if you get called to serve and the fine you face if you don't follow the new rules.